I've met a lot of people who are proud of doing what they're doing now. So it's nice to be in a space jithe sare, you know, they respect it, they recognize it.
Right.
And I'm beginning to get more comfortable saying, like, I'm a creator, I'm an influencer, because it doesn't have the same like value as like say YouTuber. I know a lot of people when I meet them, they're like, oh, your videos took off, like I'm like, but I've been doing it for 9 years. Ek toxic cheese hai ki kafi log jehde creators banna chahte ne, all the only thing they do is look at the numbers, and I'm guilty of it. We all, it's our job, right? We're going to look at the analysts, we're going to look at the numbers, but we forget that it's people behind those screens and that they're watching you. So anytime you do get the opportunity to actually meet with them, you know, like actually be there with them and like appreciate them back. I think it's one of my life mottos. It's in my bio, be kind. Because I think a kafi simple concept hai jehda asi bhul chuke hain. So I try to practice what I preach always. Even real life de vich I think unhanu milna to see that ine tusi successful ho. You don't need to be so nice. But he was so kind, so understanding, so calm, so lenient. And I think that is something that I looked and I was like, yeah, like no matter where you go in life, you stay connected to your roots. What's the point when everything that the person who I'm doing everything for, like what if she's not with me in a year from now? Oh, I'm getting emotional talking about it. I feel like I haven't really spoken about it actually at all. So I'm glad that I'm able to share that here with you.
Hi, Gurnaz.
Hi, Tarannum ji. How are you? I'm doing fabulous, amazing, here in great company. So thank you so much, firstly, for having me on your show. I feel like it's such a full circle moment. I feel like every time I meet you, we always talk about how like we go way back, guys, because I feel like I was around 8 years old when I first met you. And now look at us now. It's been like over 10 years. It's amazing. But the story is basically I grew up watching Tarannum on, am I allowed to say Omni?
Absolutely.
Okay, so yeah. I used to watch you on Omni, and I remember, I distinctly remember the 8-minute slot where she would cover entertainment, and news is so boring, and I feel like all of our parents are always like watching the news.
Yeah.
So I used to finish my homework just to be done at that time.
So you could watch
so
the
I could watch you. I don't think I even cared about the entertainment. It was because back when I was growing up, there was barely any like woman representation in the media whatsoever. Nobody local, at least. Nobody Punjabi. And just to have you there, I feel like I don't think people ever realize the impact of just even existing in a space like that. So to see you there, and I remember I met you at the Nagar Kirtan, and I was fangirling. I feel like I'm somebody who is not shy, but I know you remember me just being like,
you didn't say a word.
Yeah.
You didn't say a word. Gurnaz de mama, Gurnaz do mere kol leke aaye, aur odo Nagar Kirtan te hunda si na bhi sare jehde TV stations or radio stations, you're there on the stage, you're meeting people, you're interacting with people. ਤੇ ਗੁਰਨਾਜ਼ ਦੇ ਮਮਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਆ ਕੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਬੇਟੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਫੈਨ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ I would love to. ਗੁਰਨਾਜ਼ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ word ਨਹੀਂ ਬੋਲਿਆ. You didn't say a word.
But you were so lovely and so welcoming. I remember what I said to you after was, I hope your boss increases your salary by $1 million. Like, look at the fan following here. Like, even you have like young children supporting. So
I love that. That's incredible.
Did you ever end up actually getting a raise?
A raise? Why do you think I'm doing my own podcast? Clearly no raise.
Rude. Side eye.
It's been, being a woman in the media is a battle in itself. So, especially being a South Asian woman in the South Asian media scene. So,
especially starting when you started, I feel like
Odo koi nahi siga.
You broke, I think, all the barriers that ever existed.
You don't even realize when you're doing that, though. I was just doing what I was passionate about, which was storytelling.
Did you ever like? I assume there was many like hurdles along the way, and you like doubted yourself. How did you overcome it? Like, how did you?
I feel like this is my interview. I love it.
I probably will just
turning tables. No, I love it. Yeah, there were hurdles. The fact that, first of all, you're the only one. There is really nobody else that you can look up to. And jadon main ithe shuru kita, I think it was ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ Vision TV ਤੇ show ਤੇ Indian shows ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ Saturday ਨੂੰ Sunday ਨੂੰ. Those were the only sort of South Asian shows. And Sushma ji was the only person ਜਿਹੜੇ female role model ਵਜੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ TV ਤੇ. And I remember meeting Sushma ji for the first time, and that was my reaction. I was speechless. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm meeting Sushma ji. And 20 years later, it's been an incredible journey. Sachi.
It's beautiful how time flies.
Yeah. मैं 2003 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ Gurnaz ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ.
Wow.
And the fact that I get to tell these stories still, it's incredible. Don't say that you were not even born then.
I was. You're still young and age is just a number.
I started when I was 5. Gurnaz, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਫੈਸਟਸ ਨੇ I feel like content creator ਵੀ ਹੋ, influencer ਵੀ ਹੋ, actor ਵੀ ਹੋ, entertainer ਵੀ ਹੋ, fashionista ਵੀ ਹੋ. So ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ?
I'll be very honest. I usually don't know what to say. So I just say, hello, everybody. I'm Gurnaz, like a creator and influencer. It's funny that you asked me that because now that I've just finished school and I am like pursuing being a creator pretty much full time now, it's funny how I feel like I'm navigating how to introduce it. Kyunki, like, of course, like families, they will be like, haan ji, je graduation ki thi, dekhni hai main ki karna hai. But I feel like when I meet other people, I've met a lot of people who are proud of doing what they're doing now. So it's nice to be in a space that they respect it, they recognize it.
Right.
And I'm beginning to get more comfortable saying, like, I'm a creator, I'm an influencer, because it doesn't have the same like value as like say YouTuber. Like being a YouTuber is a little bit more like looked at, okay, like YouTube, like that's a thing.
Oh no, but you know what? I fought this pretty much all my career, my entire career. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖਾਸ ਕਰ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹੋ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਮੈਂ ਓਮਨੀ ਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੱਕ ਹੌਬੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਰਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਜੌਬ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਹੀ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ 8 ਮਿੰਟ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤਾਂ ਟੀਵੀ ਤੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ not realizing what goes into creating producing that 8-minute segment है ना so influencers naal content creators naal mainu aaya lagda hunda bahut hunda and recently I can relate to the pain you must be going through a fraction of it ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਰੀਲਸ ਬਣਾਉਣੀਆਂ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਉੱਤੇ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ it's exhausting.
It truly is.
Do you think ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਦੇਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਕੰਟੈਂਟ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਫਲੂਐਂਸਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਫ੍ਰਿਵਲਸ ਜਿਹਾ ਮੰਨਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਕਰੀਅਰ ਨੂੰ
ਹਾਂਜੀ and I feel like I actually don't mind funny enough I think ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੋਕ ਅੰਡਰਐਸਟੀਮੇਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ and they're like ਹਾਂ ਟਾਈਮ ਪਾਸ like ਫਾਲਤੂ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੀ ਫਿਰਦੀ ਹੈ so they don't really like place a lot of expectations on you so tahi tusi fir aaram na apna kaam karke you'll be like okay it's fine like I'm paying my bills but I'm probably earning more than you but it's fine you say what you want to say I feel like a lot of times when you're happy doing what you're doing tanu care nahi hundi about others
but hun ta apniyan kudiyan bahut influencers ne ਪਰ ਘਰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ this is what I want to do ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਐਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਾਂ ਨਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ this is what I want to do ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਹੀ ਨਾ ਆਵੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਦੇਰ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਕਰਨਾ ਕੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ did that happen initially?
Yes, I feel like it still kind of happens with a lot of my family as well. I think ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ I think ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਵਿੱਚ dedication ਦਿਖਾਵੋ and you bring some kind of results then they always come around and at the end of the day when they see okay like ਮੇਰਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੈਗਾ and they are like making it into a job monetizing what they're doing I think then they always take you a little bit more seriously and I feel like in my case I would say I'm fairly lucky that they were always somewhat supportive of my creative endeavors
right
so ਮੈਨੂੰ ਐਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਫੀਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਰੋਕ ਪੈ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ
ਕਦੋਂ ਲੱਗਣ ਲੱਗਾ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਕਰੀਅਰ ਵੀ ਬਣ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੁਣ ਸਿਰਫ ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ੌਕ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀਡੀਓਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਾ ਰਹੀ
I think ਸਿਰਫ recently ਹੀ 2020 ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ obviously ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਟਾਈਮ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮਿਲਿਆ that's when I started taking it more seriously becoming a lot more consistent although he made growth dekhi and I think around just a year or two I've been actually doing it like more so professionally and this year I'm getting even more serious about it and like making sure all the legal and the business aspects are ticked off as well just so I feel secure because I think being an artist or a creator or anything it's so unstable and scary
right
so plan of action zaruri hai you gotta plan something have a backup plan and then you're set
so ਜਦੋਂ ਹੌਬੀ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਪਰ at the same time ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਦੀ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਕੰਟੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਸਿਸਟੈਂਟਲੀ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਇੰਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਨਫਲੂਐਂਸਰਸ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਸਟੈਂਡ ਆਊਟ ਹੋਣਾ ਆਪਣੀ ਇੱਕ ਪਛਾਣ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਰੱਖਣੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਇੱਕ ਫੈਨ ਫੋਲੋਇੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਉੱਪਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਇਟਸ ਨਾਟ ਐਨ ਈਜ਼ੀ ਟਾਸਕ ਮੈਂ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਰੈਡੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਟੀਮ POS ਦੀ for the podcast
We love it. She looks amazing. Like always.
Thank you. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਨਾ ਵੀ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਗੈਸਟ ਕੌਣ ਨੇ, ਸੋ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰਨਾਜ਼ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਨਾਂ ਲਿਆ, you should have seen the girl how excited she was. She was so ecstatic. ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹਾਂ ਅੱਜ, and she's like, please can you tell her hi, say hi to her, and she's amazing and I love following her. So ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪ ਮੁਹੱਬਤ ਮਿਲਣੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ਼ਰ ਵੀ ਵਧਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ. ਕੰਸਿਸਟੈਂਸੀ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹ ਮੇਨਟੇਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਰੱਖਣੀ ਬੜੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ. Do you feel that pressure?
I think I do, but at the same time I don't. So the thing about me is just तरीके ना मेरी process work हुंदी है. I like to batch make a lot of content so that if life happens, I have something. So in a way I'm prepared. But also like ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ events ਜਾਨੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਤੇ ਜਾਨੀ ਹੈ, you also feel the pressure to just be creating and like be on your phone. And I don't like that because ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹਾਂ, I like to spend time with them. When I'm experiencing something new or a new moment, I want to be there. I want to be present. So I think it's still a little tricky navigating that. But so far, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹਾਂ ਚੱਲੀ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ.
That's a beautiful thing you said. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਆਮ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਆਪ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੈਮਰੇ ਦੀਆਂ ਲੈਂਸ ਥਰੂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ. ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੂਮੈਂਟ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਚਲੀ ਵੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਬਿਜ਼ੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਲੈਣ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ. ਐਂਡ ਵੀ ਆਲ ਵਾਂਟ ਟੂ ਡੂ ਦੈਟ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕੈਪਚਰ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ, ਪਰ ਕੈਪਚਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਉਹ ਮੂਮੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਉਣਾ ਭੁੱਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਐਂਡ ਯੂ ਡੋਂਟ ਡੂ ਦੈਟ. ਆਈਵ ਨੋਟਿਸ ਦੈਟ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਟ੍ਰਿਪਸ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਕੰਟੈਂਟ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਉਸ ਟ੍ਰਿਪ ਨੂੰ ਖ਼ਤਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਮਰੀਜ਼ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ. ਦੈਟਸ ਇੰਟੈਂਸ਼ਨਲ.
Definitely. I feel like I still need to work on that habit because kafi vari I'll do something and I'll create it and I still won't post it and then saal lag janda hai, you're like, oh yeah, it was a year ago, I don't think I want to post it anymore. But I think it's so important to live. I think ek downside hai social media da, like everybody is existing in the digital space but zindagi jeeni bhul jande ne. So I think it's cool to create content, like being a person who does that as a living. I understand the value of it. But at the same time, like, take your content and then just be there.
ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪਸ ਹੈ ਇਨਫਲੂਐਂਸਰਸ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਟ੍ਰਿਪਸ ਵਗੈਰਾ 'ਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ when you went to Paris and when you're traveling, ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਇਨਫਲੂਐਂਸਰਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਕੋਨੇ ਤੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਕੰਟੈਂਟ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟਰਸ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਇਹ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਨਾ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਬੜੀ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਐਡਮਾਇਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ. ਬਟ is that just for us to see or is it actually like that? Is it not competitive?
Yes and no. So I feel like all these answers, I feel like it really depends on the person.
Yeah.
In my case, I remember like when I've gone on trips, very blessed to be able to do that. It's one of my favorite perks of the job, one of my favorite things to do. Although kafi bari main lokan nu mildi haan and I don't get to say hi to everybody. But then I realized, okay, like जिन्हां नूं तुसी मिलना है तुसी उन्हां नूं मिल ही लेना है. And like I was like, oh my god, there was this influencer, I really love her, I didn't get a chance to chat with her, connect with her, tell her I appreciate her. And then my friends were like, it's okay, like the people that you're meant to meet, you will always meet them, and whoever you've met and you've connected with, like that's what it is.
That's meant to be.
Yeah, it's meant to be. And a lot of times, at least in my case, it's real. I try to stay real on the internet. I don't like to pretend or fake a lot of things. So in my experience, all the brand trips that I've been to, especially with Canadians, I feel like I don't think it's a myth कि चंगे हैं
ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ nice ਹਾਂ.
We're too nice.
बहुत nice.
Too
nice. ज़्यादा nice ਹਾਂ.
कुछ ज़्यादा ही ਅਸੀਂ comfortable ਬਣਾਉਣ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਵਿਗਾੜ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. But it's a fact.
Canadians ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ.
Yes.
ਦੂਜਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਗਲਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਪ ਮਾਫੀ ਮੰਗਣੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ.
Always like ਮੋਢਾ ਵੱਜੇ. Sorry, you know, it wasn't even me. It was you. But sorry.
It's so true.
Yeah, but when I've met a lot of people from other countries, I think personality thodi jinna di vakri hundi hai. Even Americans a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Iffy. And you can see that there's definitely a lot of like two-faced people. And you just
stay away.
Maintain rakho apna and keep your vibes vibing, and I think you'll always meet the right people.
ਕਦੋਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਣ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਲੋਕੀ ਪਛਾਣਨ ਲੱਗ ਗਏ ਨੇ? ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਮੋਮੈਂਟਸ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਯਕੀਨ ਜਿਹਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ. ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਛਾਣਦਾ ਨਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਪਿੱਛੇ ਵਾਲੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ, ਕੋਈ ਪਪੂਲਰ ਹੈ. ਉਹ ਕਦੋਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ?
I think very, very early on, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ vines ਬਣਾਉਂਦੀ ਸੀ, which is Vine, rest in peace to that app. It's been years. Nobody even knows what I mean when I say Vine or Dub Smash. They're like, okay. And I'm like,
but Vines, if you think about it, ਉਹਨੇ Vines ਨੇ ਹੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾ ADHD ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਪਾਇਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ short form videos ਦੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ Vines ਨੇ ਹੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ, if you think about it, ਹੈ ਨਾ?
I think it's crazy because जिन्ना ने भी invent किया सी. I don't think you ever have an intention of creating something like that, and it just becomes bigger than you. Like फैल जाता है. And it's crazy to see what it's become now. But going back to the question of being recognized, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਸੀ ਕੋਈ, I remember her name. Her name was Parul, and she said, "Excuse me." And I don't know why I thought she was going to ask me what time it was. I was like, it's 11:40. And I was like, why did I say that? Like, and she's like, oh, I've like seen your videos. I was like, oh, like that's crazy. Like, nice to meet you and everything. But I definitely do try my best. Like anytime I ever meet anybody, to like actually like talk to them and be like, okay, like what's your name? What do you do? Just to have that one-on-one connection, because I think एक toxic चीज़ है कि काफी लोग ਜਿਹੜੇ creators बनना चाहते हैं, the only thing they do is look at the numbers, and I'm guilty of it. We all, it's our job, right? We're gonna look at the analysts, we're gonna look at the numbers, but we forget that it's people behind those screens and that they're watching you. So anytime you do get the opportunity to actually meet with them, you know, like actually be there with them and like appreciate them back. I feel like that's something that's important that sometimes I don't see some of my creator friends do, but that's on them, right? Like that's just how they react.
Where do you get that from? ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ realization ਹੈ ਕਿ respect ਦੇਣੀ, humility ਦਿਖਾਉਣੀ, kindness ਦਿਖਾਉਣੀ, ਇਹ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ?
I think it's one of my life mottos. It's in my bio, be kind. Because I think it काफी simple concept है ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਭੁੱਲ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹਾਂ. So I try to practice what I preach always. Like sometimes I'm too nice. I'm also working on my boundaries.
Yeah.
Always ज़रूरी है. Be kind to yourself too.
You're talking to the right person. It's like, oh, this person walked all over me. Kyun? Because I was too nice.
Yeah, I think as you live and you learn, you realize that you also need to respect yourself as well. But I think it's just meri parvarish, I guess. It's kind of what I get. One of the core values for my family. And also because jo bhi mainu milya hai, asani nal nahi milya. I know a lot of people, when I meet them, they're like, oh, your videos took off. Like, I'm like, but I've been doing it for 9 years. And
it didn't happen overnight.
Not at all. I want to make it, like, I would love to, like, you know, keep up the hustle. And so people think, oh, it was so easy for her. She did it overnight. You know, like, because when you make it. But I think it's important to recognize that, there's a lot of time and effort that went behind it. So that's why I just value it a lot more. So even though I think zindagi mein there are moments when you're like, I hate this, I want to give up, but you still get through it. It just makes you value jo bhi tanu milda hai baad a lot.
Oh, moments kadon hunde ne?
All the time.
Really?
Yes. I think even just daily sometimes, like when you're like, am I even doing the right thing? What am I doing? I feel like I have an existential crisis. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, okay. And I think it's important in those moments to, you know, ground yourself, practice your gratitude, look at the goals and just keep on going. But I think in moments of like where you don't have something interesting happening or you don't do something that somebody else is doing,
right?
I think like the comparison,
Bilkul,
which is another aspect.
Social media. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's a problem. But I love it.
We all love it. That's the thing, right? ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ game ਹੈ numbers ਵਾਲੀ, ਇਹ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਨਸਿਕਿਉਰ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਬਹੁਤ ਚੱਲੂਗੀ, ਉਹਨੂੰ thousands of views ਮਿਲਣਗੇ, ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਸਨੂੰ ਉਨਾ ਰਿਸਪੌਂਸ ਨਾ ਮਿਲੇ, and then all of a sudden your self-esteem, your self-confidence starts to go down. How do you manage that? ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ mental health ਤੇ ਵੀ ਅਸਰ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ, ਜ਼ਾਹਰ ਹੈ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਬਾਕੀ ਇਨਫਲੂਐਂਸਰਸ ਤੋਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਲਾਈਕਸ ਮਿਲ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ, ਇੰਨੇ views ਮਿਲ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ, ਇੰਨੇ comments ਮਿਲ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ.
Yeah, I think just because I've been doing it a long time, मैं सीख चुकी हूँ to not connect my worth to the number. I think another important thing I'm realizing is ज़रूरी नहीं कि हमेशा कुछ करते हो वो, and to be productive.
Yeah.
I think just कि तुसी exist करते हो, रब ने तानू एक reason ली पाया अर्थ ते, and it's maybe that reason is just to exist and to be there for other people. Like you don't have to be necessarily like chasing something all the time. I think important है कि अगर कोई purpose होवे, कोई dream होवे, कुछ होवे जो तुसी करना चाहते हो to stay motivated in life, but you don't have to tie your identity to that. I think you can just be, and it's beautiful in itself.
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਐਂ ਲੱਗੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਮੈਂ ਗੁਰਨਾਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਸਾਲ ਵੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ, ਪਰ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਸਾਲ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਦੇ ਵਿਚਾਲੇ ਨਾ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਇਆ. I almost feel like there's a transformation that happened in this 1 year. Tell me more.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten the privilege to really, I guess, experience like the full life of being a creator, which is different from when you're just beginning, because now you get to be behind the scenes and like experience things that are crazy and like lavish. And I don't come from that.
Right.
And I've met a lot of people that I've gotten the chance to learn from. I like surrounding myself surprisingly with a lot of old people, like older people.
Because you're an older soul. You've always been an old soul.
Yes.
Yeah, since you were little, you were an old soul.
Wow.
Oh, cheez thodi si ki. Tusi observe karte se. You used to take everything in, and I only met you as a child maybe twice. But ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬਾਰੇ notice ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ. ਇੱਕ wisdom ਸੀ ਜਿਦ that was there. You were an old person.
ਬਣਾਤਾ
ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ ਸੀ.
ਜਿੰਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਵਸਤੇ ਰਹੋ. Everybody. Yeah, I don't know. I guess life sometimes teaches you that. Like I said, I didn't always have it the most easiest. And especially, I think last year, काफ़ी ज़्यादा realizations भी मैंने हुई when my mom got sick. I think it really just put everything into perspective. So us hadse to pehla, I was already, I think, doing the right things, as in, you know, like trying to like be clear, like have my goals. But when somebody in your family is sick and you can't do anything for them, like your whole world is like
helpless.
And you're like, why am I doing what I'm doing? And that was actually one moment in my life where I was like, Mama, I'm gonna delete everything. I don't care.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, what's the point when everything that the person who I'm doing everything for, like, what if she's not with me in a year from now? Oh, I'm getting emotional talking about it. I feel like I haven't really spoken about it actually at all. So I'm glad that I'm able to share that here with you. But I think in a moment like that, you finally realize what the most important thing in life is. And that is just, like I said, to be present, to be there, to be with your people, and to try to be happy. I think happiness is, I guess, subjective. It's different for everybody. But jado tusi khosh ho sako, you know, be there. And whatever you feel it fully. That's something I'm learning as well. And that's something that I've learned last year as well. So, yeah, I guess experiences life there. They teach you many things, and I'm asking the universe to stop with those experiences. I would like to just live now and live good. Thank you. If they're listening to the podcast.
Equally na, they do. Universe does listen to the podcast. Trust me. Aithe jo kuch manifest karna kar lene appa.
I'm excited for that.
I believe in the magic of manifestation. I really do.
What does that mean to you, like to manifest? How did you manifest?
मैं हमेशा कहनी हुनी मैं अपनी जिंदगी सारी manifest कीती है.
Wow.
निक्के हुंदे तो और मैनू पता नहीं सी गुरनाज़ मैनू मतलब ही नहीं सी पता भी मैनिफेस्टेशन हुंदी की है. मैं grade 5 ਤੇ 6 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੀ ਫਰੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਸਮਰ ਹੌਲੀਡੇਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਟੇਪ ਰਿਕਾਰਡਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਛੋਟੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਉਹਦੀ ਪ੍ਰਟੈਂਡ ਕਰਨਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਦੀ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਵਿਚ ਕਰਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਕਰਨੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਅਖਬਾਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਨਾ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਡਾਈਨਿੰਗ ਟੇਬਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਿੱਕਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਘਰ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਬੈੱਡ 'ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਖਾਣਾ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਅਤੇ ਅਖਬਾਰ ਵਿਛਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਖਾਣਾ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਅਖਬਾਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਖਾਣੇ ਦੀ ਵੇਟ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਅਖਬਾਰ ਚੁੱਕ ਕੇ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਅਤੇ ਪ੍ਰਟੈਂਡ ਕਰਨਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਐਂਕਰ ਹਾਂ.
Wow.
Every little thing that I've manifested has come true. Or ਬਿਨਾਂ subconsciously, pure heart, intention, ਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਭੱਜਣ 'ਚ ਯਕੀਨ ਰੱਖਿਆ. ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਯਕੀਨ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਉਹ ਹੋਣਾ. So when I get
I live by that.
Right? Yeah. So ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਦਰਵਾਜ਼ਾ ਬੰਦ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਇੰਨਾ ਯਕੀਨ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ ਵੀ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਹੁਣ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਹੋਣਾ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਇੰਨਾ ਕਮਾਲ ਦਾ ਹੋਣਾ.
It's gonna be even better.
Yes. I know it.
I think that's a great philosophy to live life by. Yeah. It really helps you just stick it through and get through a lot of things as well.
It really does. ਇੱਕ ਨਾ ਔਖਾ ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੌਰੀ ਆਮ ਕਮਿੰਗ ਬੈਕ ਟੂ ਮਮ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮਮ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਇੱਕ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਟਰੈਂਥ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਇਨਕਰੇਜ ਕੀਤਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਚੀਅਰ ਲੀਡਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ ਇੱਕ ਆਪਣਾ ਐਂਡ ਆਈ ਸੀ ਦੈਟ ਇਨ ਯੂਰ ਮਮ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੋਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਚੀਅਰ ਔਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਆਲ ਆਫ ਅ ਸਡਨ ਇੱਕ ਰਿਵਰਸ ਪੈਰੈਂਟਿੰਗ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ I've been in that situation ਆਪਣੇ ਮਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਅਤੇ ਆਲ ਆਫ ਅ ਸਡਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੇਟੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਮਾਂ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਲ ਆਫ ਅ ਸਡਨ ਵੱਡੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲੀ ਰਿਸਪੋਂਸੀਬਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ. ਇਹ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕੀਤਾ
100 I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I feel like ਛੋਟੀ ਉਮਰੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਾਂ ਬਣਨਾ ਪਿਆ but I feel like a lot of people they do see that happening. I think a realization a lot of young people have is we are growing, but so are our parents, and they won't be there forever. So it's important to really, I guess, really hold that relationship close. And in my experience, I was my mom's primary caregiver the whole process because everybody else was working.
Of course.
Now, I was working too, I guess, like creating content. I was a full-time student as well. And shout out to all my professors who were, you know, very lenient with that. And I just let them know I am not going to be missing a single one of my mom's chemo appointments. Like, I need to be there with her always. Even if she says she's okay with me, like, leaving her there, I know I need to be there with her for the support.
Of course.
So definitely was a lot of parenting, you know, teaching her actually just to start walking again. Cooking for, how to cook a lot of Punjabi food, I guess. Because I was like, okay, no, I need her to be eating healthy. I need to her to eat what she likes to eat.
Of course.
You know, so I guess a lot of things I did have to do that I didn't necessarily have to think about earlier. But then I guess it just really makes you value all the little things a lot more. And I'm just incredibly happy and blessed that my mom is healthy now. So it's crazy how just a year back, I was like, my world is crashing. Sab kuch khatam. What is happening?
And
why is it happening?
That. I could feel that. You didn't share much about it, but I felt it. I felt it, and I remember I reached out to you because I had a feeling that there is something
going on.
Yeah. But you know, realizing कि इना moments ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ pause ਲੈ ਲੈਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ.
Very much.
ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰਾਇੋਰਟਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਪੈਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਐਂਡ ਇਟਸ ਓਕੇ. ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੰਮ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਬਣਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੋ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਭੁੱਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ.
Yeah.
So these moments make you realize that. ਇੱਕ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੰਨੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੋਈ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਮਮ ਠੀਕ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਸੈਲੀਬ੍ਰੇਟ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਟ੍ਰਿਪ ਲਿਆ.
Yeah.
That just sounds so phenomenal, and that's how life should be celebrated.
Always. I think regardless of jo tadi life chho raha, always create those moments.
Tell me about that trip. I want to know.
It was a lot of fun. First time with my family in Europe. Cruise kiti assi. I loved it. I recommend because 24 hours food service. Jo to mardi jao, khao piyo. They're roasting, everyone roasting the pizza. I'm like, this is life. I think travel teaches you a lot.
It does.
Really binds you together as well. So like I said, it was just a celebration. I was waiting for school to be over and see maze kite. And
Fair to see India guy.
Yes, which was kind of not planned. So sadi cruise khatam hoi England which, and we were like, ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਨੇ close ਹੈਗੇ to India, might as well just
knock into the flight. We are halfway there.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And we actually decided to not go to Punjab right away because Punjab ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ family ਹੈ. And ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੀ family ਨਾਲ ਵੜ ਜਾਓ,
you can get out.
There's no getting out.
Thing. I recommend that to every single person. I never go to Punjab directly. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਗਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਜੋਗੇ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਓਗੇ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਣਾ. ਹਾਂ. So ਕਿੱਥੇ ਗਏ?
We went to Mumbai. Then we went to Goa.
Nice.
From Goa to Agra to... Then we did make a stop in Punjab because our tachi bare ho rahe si. We were like, we can't keep lugging these around. We gotta drop them off so we can continue with our travels.
Right.
Fir assi Shimla gaye, and then obviously we went to Amritsar as well. And then I guess the majority of the time was left, we just spent shopping because lenge lunge lene si, suit lene si. Where else were we in Punjab? But yeah, overall, very, very interesting trip I had. Like when a lot of people, when they asked me how was it, I was like, you know what, Europe was fun, but I think India was a little different because I see Punjab nahi sirf gaya si, baki bhi ghum ke aaye, and you got to learn a little bit more of the country you belong to, because as Indians, a lot of Indians have not even seen India.
ਇੱਕ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੇ born and raised ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਲਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਹੋਣਾ.
Oh yeah.
ਹੈ ਨਾ? ਸੋ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਮੇਜ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਖੁੱਲ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ it's not that India.
Yeah.
What was the most surprising thing you found ਕਿ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ realization ਸੀ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਨਾ ਹੋਈ ਹੋਵੇ?
I think just how vast and different it can be state to state, like culture different, cuisine different, so many languages that I think people don't realize, and so much ancient like history there, like the Indus Valley, like we're like one of the major 5 civilizations. I think a lot of people don't realize how much beauty there is in it, and how it's diverse. Not something severely diverse, and people don't realize how it's a beautiful part of our identity as well, which we all shy away from. but काफी interesting experiences हुए. I feel like we almost got kidnapped. Yep.
Oh, tell me more.
Gotta tell you a little story time for that. So see Jaipur ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀ and ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਪੁਸ਼ਕਰ ਦਾ ਮੇਲਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ. I don't know if you've heard.
Really popular.
Yeah. So
ਬਹੁਤ ਭੀੜ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ.
And I was like, okay, I actually hadn't heard of it. And we went to Jaipur specifically for Holi because it was my dream to celebrate Holi there.
Okay.
It didn't really end up happening how I wanted to, but we were suggested, oh, like Holi, it's not going to be safe to celebrate Holi in Jaipur.
I was just about to say, because Holi, menu sab to unsafe festival lagda. Kudiyan vaste khas karke.
Yeah.
I've had some experiences bachpan de vich and main hamesha luk jandi si.
People being touchy.
Kyunki unhone chehre nahi diste.
Yeah.
Right? To see, it's pretty much like
galat gall hai.
बहुत गलत गल है.
You're not okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely not. So मैं कदे safe नहीं feel कीता growing up in India. मैं लुक जांदी हुंदी सी होली वाले दिन अंदर. I hated it. It's my least favorite festival
Holiday.
because of that. Because of the experiences I had as a child.
Yeah.
So
I didn't really get the chance to ever celebrate it. So I thought, okay, you know, it'll be a lot of fun. And I wasn't going to go like crazily on the street. Like, you know, usually like hotels will have something private just for their...
Of
so
course.
I was thinking, okay, dana kuch hovega.
Yeah.
But they like recommended to us to actually go to the Pushkar da Mela. Like, it's only a few hours away. So we hired a driver. We thought it was all going to be fine. But I think we just got very unlucky with a lot of our drivers and Uber drivers, like the Bande. And...
Was it all females?
Yes. We were a group of women traveling... Biggest mistake ever.
Oh no.
I'm sorry to say, but
oh no. Okay.
You need to have a man with you while you're traveling.
That's a red flag right there.
And also one of us was actually a Gori as well.
Oh.
So I feel like
that has a lot to do with it too.
I think that as well. And the funny thing is, like, I would lie always that Hanji main te bas Chandigarh di haan. Like, I would specifically make it a point to never speak in English. I think I did fairly well with that. Like, always Punjabi and Hindi.
ਇਹ ਦਿਖਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੋਕਲ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ. And even ਜਦੋਂ ਜਿਵੇਂ bargaining ਕਰਨੀ ਹੋਵੇ, shopping करनी हो, like, भैया ਤੁਸੀਂ आप locals की rate लगाओ, ये आपको क्या लगता है मैं foreigner हूँ, डालो आप कम करो.
अरे
वाह. I think a fun fact about me is I'm actually a great bargainer. It's so fun.
I do not know how to bargain. I'm born and raised in India. I do not know how to bargain.
I think it's also like you feel bad where you're like, oh, like, you know, it's okay, I'll just pay them. It's just like a $5. But $5 in India can be a lot. And they're not scamming you for $5. They're scamming you for $50 because they know you're not from there.
Of course.
So I'll be like, like मैंने सुना था आपने इनको आपने 500 में दिया, आप मुझे 1500 में दे रहे हैं. नहीं भैया सही नहीं है. And a lot of times I'd be like, you know, I'll come back to your shop. I'll bring you back people. And I actually have. So I'm true to my word. I'd be like, oh, yo, I got this kurta from there. Like, make sure you go buy one from there as well.
So you're giving them more customers.
Yeah. And it's an experience. It's fun.
India ਦਾ ਇੰਨਾ positive experience ਕੋਈ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈਰਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਜੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਐਕਸਪੈਕਟ ਨਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਵੇ. ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੰਗੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਲੱਗੀਆਂ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਦੀਆਂ?
I think ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ. Hospitality, I think we are top tier. Best service India ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ. ਖਾਣਾ.
ਨਵਾਜ਼ੀ.
Oh yeah, ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਨਵਾਜ਼ੀ. ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਅਤਿਥੀ ਭਵ something.
ਅਤਿਥੀ ਦੇਵੋ ਭਵ.
ਹਾਂ ਜੀ.
ਅਤਿਥੀ ਦੇਵੋ ਭਵ.
ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਵੀ feeling ਸਮਝ ਲੱਗ ਗਈ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ. But it's a great quality to have, I think, to always treat, you know.
ਹਾਂ ਪਰ ਖਵਾਉਂਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਆ.
ਵੇਟ ਵੱਧ ਗਿਆ.
ਪਰੌਂਠੇ ਖਾ ਕੇ. What's your favorite food ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ?
Great question. I think ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਖਾਧਾ soya chop. I don't know if you've had before in your life.
Maybe not.
Yeah, it's something that's not very popular here.
Yeah.
But they're like, this soya chop, oh my god, so good. I'm like, okay. And then so I tried it. My life changed. It was so good. I'm vegetarian. I've been for about 2-3 years.
Right.
I guess it's supposed to be a replacement for like chicken, like the soya.
Oh, soya. Yeah, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ nutri nuggets ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ
ਸੀ ਉਦਾਂ. Nutri ਵਰਗਾ taste ਨਹੀਂ, but ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ dense ਹੁੰਦਾ.
Okay.
It's delicious.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, but while you're eating it, you know it's so bad for you.
ਅੱਛਾ ਫਿਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਹੈ ਸੁਣਿਆ. ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਵੀ
2 ਵਾਰੀ food poisoning.
ਓਏ ਹੋਏ.
Record set ਕਰਤਾ ਮੈਂ.
So I'm going to give you a trick. ਅਗਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਜੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਟਰੈਵਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਨਾ, ਹੁਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸੂਗੀ, ਮੈਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਚ ਦੱਸੂਗੀ. You have so many other things to talk about that I want to talk about. Gurnaz, ਜਦੋਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਫਿਗਰ ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਨਾ, then you find yourself in places. ਹਾਲੇ ਵੀ 20 ਸਾਲ ਬਾਅਦ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਪਿੰਚ ਕਰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ how did I like end up in this room with these people. ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਾਰੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ. You've gone through a few of those experiences, है ना?
Yeah.
पिछले 9 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ, ਪਬਲਿਕ ਆਈ ਚ ਆਉਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਇਆ. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ experiences ਬਾਰੇ ਦੱਸੋ where you just like pinch me. ਮੈਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਆ ਗਈ? How did I end up here?
I think imposter syndrome.
is
Kafi bari feel
real.
hunda hai. Yeah. And I think I'm finally starting to get out of it because you need to realize agar tade liye cheez hai, it's here. You deserve it.
Absolutely.
And ਆਪਣੇ ਬ੍ਰੇਨ ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਕ੍ਰਿਟਿਸਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਨਫ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ, ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਨਫ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟਿਵਿਟੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਖਾਈ, ਬਟ you to realize if it's there, you've done the work and it's there for you, so you make the most out of it. Because there's so many other people who'd kill to be in that room for people. 100%. So I think ਕਾਫੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਇਆ, there was a brand trip that I went to with a brand, and ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਰੇ YouTubers ਸੀਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੈਂ ਬਚਪਨ ਚ ਦੇਖਦੀ ਸੀ. It was wild to me.
Wow.
And the funny thing is there was no other South Asian people on the trip. I was the only South Asian.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like,
that's a big deal.
That's so what?
That's a big deal.
Like, I think something I've always strived for is like being represented in the media. Like seeing any brown person win is a win for all of us.
Absolutely is.
Even agar kadi kada like we don't like necessarily agree with all the choices that person is making, it's still a huge deal that utte koi hai.
Yeah.
Right?
But brown influencers ek duje nu encourage karde ne ki ek duje nu thalle khichde ne?
Interesting question. I think as a community, they're very harsh on their own people. Made experience, which I've always only met people who have been kind to me. But then again, I always wonder, is it because you just want to collab with me, you want to grow your following, or like, why are you being nice to me? So I feel like there's always that little doubt you have in your head as well. But when I see them like actually like hustling and like taking it seriously, okay, like they're like me.
Right.
Like I have a lot of friends who are, you know, just beginning of their content journey. Some people who've like done really well. Some people are living in LA. So I'm like, I've connected to all spheres. Because you can always tell. Energy is like what I go by always. Vibes never lie.
Nope.
And
absolutely. And if you're giving out positive vibes, you're going to get that back. 100%. And that's what you'll attract. There's people that you've looked up to.
You being one of them. I'm here with Tarannum today. What? That's also wild to me.
Thank you. It's wild to me कि वो निक्की जी शाय जी कुड़ी जिहड़ी है हुण इन्नी ज़्यादा तरक्की कर रही है हर पक्षों. That makes me so happy and so proud. बहुत सारे लोगों ने तुसी follow करदे आए हो. उन्हां नूं मिलण दा मौका मिलिਆ. I want to talk about those people.
Okay.
कई वारी कहंदे हुंदे आ कि अपने heroes है ना जिहड़े उन्हां नूं ना ही मिलो तो चंगा.
I've heard that.
Right?
Because ਦੁੱਖ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ, right?
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਮੇਜ ਬਣਾਈ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਸੇ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਦੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਜ਼ਿਹਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹੋ ਲਾਈਕ ਹਾਏ ਹਾਏ ਇਹ ਬੰਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਹੀ ਉਸ ਇਮੇਜ ਦੇ ਉਲਟ ਹੈ. I wish I didn't meet you.
Yeah, has it happened with you?
Yes, it has. It has.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
How do you overcome that? You just...
I was disappointed, but you can't help it because he was a singer. He's no more.
Yeah.
And I had grown up listening to his music all my life. My mom had too, and meeting him was cringe. Yikes. You know, and it was exact opposite of what I had imagined him to be. Yeah. I
can't imagine the amount of tea that you have and all the gossip she must have.
I can write a book.
Just change their names.
I can write a book. But ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਗਾਣਾ ਮੈਂ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਉਹ ਬੜਾ ਤੰਗ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ. It wasn't the same. Yeah, definitely. So that's probably the only example. Or otherwise, I feel like again it depends on the vibes that you give out. Yeah. ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ touchwood ਵਧੀਆ experience ਹੀ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ. And I feel privileged that I get to see that other side of them as well.
100%. I think that's an example ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ personality ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਾਫੀ ਲੰਬੀ ਦੇਰ ਤੱਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ.
I think so. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੀ genuine ਹੋ.
It carries through and it shows. And one day it creeps up to you if you're not a genuine person. So
and you can only pretend to be somebody. ਕਿੰਨੀ ਕੁ ਦੇਰ ਕਰ ਲਓਗੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੈ ਨਾ? That was my next question as well. ਅੱਛਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਦੱਸੋ ਯਾਰ, who are the people who left you speechless ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਦੇ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮਿਲੋਗੇ? And then I'll come back to the other question.
I think the biggest figure is definitely Diljit Dosanjh. You saw me sing. Yeah, definitely, because I think in the Punjabi industry, in Bollywood, and now in Hollywood, the Taylor Swift rumors.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Taylor Swift, Diljit Dosanjh.
I'm rooting for them, honestly.
Harbor date. Like it's like what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Kuch bhi ho sakta hai. And after Coachella, I guess there's no looking back.
Yeah. I think meeting him was definitely one of those, oh my God.
Forget about meeting him. You acted with him. Are you kidding? Honsla Rakh. Wow.
Great experience. It's been about a year or so now, but I still think back to it and it's unreal. So grateful. It's unreal. Truly, I visit it sometimes when I think about it and I'm like, how, first of all, like, how did I even make it here? Because to like work with him or to even meet him was one of my life goals, just because he's inspired me for so long, because of the nature karke, because of the way he's so connected with himself and aware, like spirituality de naal vi, and apne sangeet de zariye vi ek vadiya example set karna, and his fashion sense, his personality, like man is a vibe, like let's just say that. And even real life de vich I think unhanu milna, to see that ine tusi successful ho, you don't need to be so nice. But he was so kind, so understanding, so calm, so lenient. And I think that is something that I looked and I was like, yeah, like no matter where you go in life, you stay connected to your roots, and it's the best feeling ever.
That's amazing. Yeah. What was it like seeing yourself on the big screen?
Oh, I teared up. I cried. Me? That's me? I look good. All the angles capture kar le mere.
Bahut badhiya. You looked amazing and you did a phenomenal job.
You as well. Tarannum, she slayed the role. The happy lady carrying the baby. Guys, go watch the movie. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Recently, you worked with Jasmine Sandless.
Yeah.
Female performers ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ Jasmine ਐ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਕਿ she's just paving her own path. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਪਰਵਾਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ. And I'm just putting it out there. Let's manifest this. I want to have Jasmine Sandless on this podcast.
Jasmine, we need you here. Please.
That's one of my dreams. I have her name on my vision board. I think it would be wonderful to have her. What was that experience like?
So I don't know when you're going to be hosting hearing this, but so she has some new music coming out.
Right.
And I just got a call from somebody who was a photographer that I worked with years ago. And he was just like, we want to highlight some like South Asian women who, exude power or confidence. And we just want to, bring them in a video together. Just like a little cameo. And I was like, you know what? Yes, because first of all, female. She's a female Punjabi singer. And that too, the persona she carries.
Absolutely.
I respect so much respect for her through all the ups and downs in her life. Like she's come out stronger and stronger. Also, another thing about her, also so humble. Giving everybody hugs, appreciating them. And even after the shoot, she like sent out a voice note saying, thank you so much everybody for being a part of this journey. Kaun karta hai? You can see the love.
Need to do that.
Yeah, you don't need to. And I think that is what just really outs those people from everybody else, like the love and the appreciation.
Right.
And also, I like from what I heard, like the stuff that she's going to be coming out with next is also going to be something so different that is going to help a lot of people connect with themselves.
Right.
And I think वो बहुत ज़रूरी चीज़ है.
Yeah.
A lot of times ਅਸੀਂ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ, like singing all these like
of course
different things, but not a lot of women. So to hear it and hear her story, I think is going to be काफ़ी inspiring for all of us.
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਨਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਈਜ਼ੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਭੇਡ ਚਾਲ ਦਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਬਣ ਜਾਣਾ, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਲੋ ਕਰਨਾ. ਆਪਣਾ ਖੁਦ ਦਾ ਰਸਤਾ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਔਖਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਜੋ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਯੂ ਰੀਲੀ ਬ੍ਰੇਕਿੰਗ ਬੈਰੀਅਰਸ ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਬਾਕੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ. That's usually the case. So the question that I parked earlier was ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਤੇ ਪਰਸੋਨਾ ਹੈ ਗੁਰਨਾਜ਼ ਦੀ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਬਹੁਤ ਮਜ਼ਾਕ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜੋਕ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਹਿਊਮਰਸ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਅਸਲ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰਨਾਜ਼ ਹੈ. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੋਵਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਫਰਕ ਹੈ? ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕੈਰੈਕਟਰ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੋਰਟਰੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਜਾਂ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਹੀ ਹਿੱਸਾ?
I think ਇੱਕ ਮੇਰੀ ਪਰਸਨੈਲਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਐਸਪੈਕਟ ਹੈਗਾ, so it's not all of me. I think ਇਹ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਹਾਈਲਾਈਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹਾਂਗੀ is a lot of people when they're consuming content or looking at something online or in a magazine, you know that it's not particularly completely real and it's curated, but we still choose to believe it. Like that's just our natural human tendency visually. Sanu lagda hai, okay, ਆ ਕੁੜੀ ਨੇ Lamborghini ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਫੋਟੋ ਲਾਈ, ਹਾਂ ਬੜੀ ਰਿਚ ਹੋਵੇਗੀ, maybe she's just standing there, like we don't realize that okay we gotta,
it can be, social media can be really deceiving and deceptive. Yeah, definitely.
So I don't try to put out the deceptive image, I try to show like the real me, but then again people need to realize it's not all of you. There's a different version, there's different versions of me that exist in everybody's head.
Yeah,
but there's also like me that I'm navigating, I'm learning. Life is long, I'm still in the process of learning about myself and pick and choose karna panda, which aspect do I want to share, what's something that I want to dive into. So I'm still navigating that, but I try to always present something that is me. So I don't like sharing things that I feel like are not me. Jo bhi hai, I try to keep it real.
ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ਼ਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਨਿੱਕੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਬੱਚੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਯੰਗ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਜਦੋਂ ਨਿੱਕੀ ਗੁਰਨਾਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ, ਜਦੋਂ TV 'ਤੇ ਦੇਖਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਈਡਲਸ ਨੂੰ, ਹੁਣ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਦਾ ਵੀ ਥੋੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ਼ਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਧਿਆਨ 'ਚ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਬੱਚੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ.
Yeah, that's why I try to keep family friendly, try to promote the right things the ideals that I stand by. Yeah, I guess I also don't realize sometimes the impact. I think like you just don't know what you're doing while you're doing it, like you mentioned earlier. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ presence ਨਾਲ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਫਰਕ ਪੈ ਰਿਹਾ.
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ.
So sometimes it's hard to understand, oh my god, there's like a lot of people watching me. Like even ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹਾਂ and they're like, I watch it, I'm like, no ways, really?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, while I was in India, I actually met people in the most random places. Airport ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਮਿਲੀ. I'm like, this is so weird. ਵੱਖਰਾ ਮੁਲਕ.
Yeah.
You like have grown up in Jaipur your whole life and I'm meeting you at this random fort.
Isn't that crazy?
That is insane. And I'm still wrapping my head around the fact that, you know, that your voice can carry so far.
And getting recognition in your own country, there's something about it. Hana?
Truly.
Oh, jedi joy hai. It's something else. It's hard to explain. Yeah, for sure.
It definitely would inspire me to keep on doing it. So every time I feel a little demotivated, I think back to the stories people have shared with me in real life and I'm like, you know what, like mere liye nahi the inna li zarur main kardi rehna hai jo bhi main kardi.
So that's what motivates you?
Yeah.
So ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦਿਨ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਜੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਕੰਟੈਂਟ ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੋਟੀਵੇਸ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ, ਤਾਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਇਨਸਪੀਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ, ਮੋਟੀਵੇਸ਼ਨ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ?
I think I always look back to life. Like ek cheez hai ki mere bare I don't have the best memory because I think काफी ज़्यादा मैं survival mode life kaddi hai. But when I look back, I'm like, okay, to शुरुआत की थी सी and we're here. So if you just keep on going, like maybe one day you'll be living the life that you dream of, right? And you'll be able to share love at a grander scale. So I just try to keep that in mind. And you know, family, my mom, life just motivates me. I'm like, you know what? Like, this is good. Like, it's a privileged job to have, being a creator. Kite bhi hovo, jithe marji hovo, you can be making things and doing what you love.
And
I love
not
makeup.
Everybody can do it.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do it.
So I'm definitely aware.
Flawless at it. मैं पता की visualize करती हूँ नहीं अभी influencers जोड़े होंगे ना content creators क्योंकि तुसी इन्हें सोने boxes brand names दे makeup दे खोलते हो ना मैं क्या इन्हें कर दे अगे ना हमेशा packages होंगे you know how we order something and it comes and like but if you think about it companies are sending you all this stuff.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I'm just like, living room part I'm like, sorry, like I'll eventually get to it. It's funny that you mentioned that because when I was on the initial stages of starting it and I started receiving some PR, my family thought I was buying stuff. They're like, inne paise kharchi ja rahi hain. I'm like, it's free. And the thing is, you do realize because, you know, they want you to create something
obviously,
out of it and whatever. But those types of things are the reasons why they're like, okay, you're doing what you're doing and you're getting recognition for it. So very grateful. It's always so much fun, you know, getting to try out all these products. It's a
gratitude.
Always. Every time I open a box, I swear to God, I tear up a little bit. I'm like, like I remember like around 4 or 5 years back when I started like my makeup journey, I didn't have a lot of money to start with for makeup. And the first like things that I bought, I started off a little bit smaller, like drugstore brands. Yeah. Created with that. Then I hopped onto, you know, first time I job kiti, check kita, and I was like, like I need to have the initial kit. And just with the little bit that I bought, I tried to create so much of it.
And look where you are now.
It's insane how it happened. I don't know. I really don't know.
It's amazing.
I think it's consistency and just being honest, the truth.
Intention,
just doing it with true love.
Yeah.
Jo bhi tusi karde ho, jadon tusi apni clarity nal karde ho, and you're just doing. I think it just comes your way.
Okay, last question, a very important question that I've kept for, you know, the end is ke Gurnaz cha di bahut shauqeen hai.
Oh, huh. Cheers.
Cheers. Cha ta nahi piyai.
This chai in here?
Yeah, sure. Acha, end the vich cha kidda pasand hai? How do you like your tea? That's what I want to know.
Oh, lovely question. Patti thok ke, dudh thoda rok ke. I think for my recipe, I really like mixing. I think soft and lachi. Like kot ke, kaad ke, फिर पत्ती पाके दूध पाके just उबाले दवाई जाओ. I don't like it when there's too many masalas.
Yeah.
ये भी एक fact है इंडिया बारे. ऐसी गर्मियाँ जिਵੇਂ समझ लो गए हैं सारे किते अदरक दी चाह मिलदी सी.
Oh, गर्मियाँ च भी.
Yeah, so I'm like गर्मी पै रही है अदरक is gonna, you know, कहंदे ना कि अंदर heat ਹੁੰਦਾ है.
ਉਹਦੀ ਤਾਸੀਰ ਗਰਮ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਅਦਰਕ ਦੀ. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ I'm that person.
She's built different.
मैं गर्मियाँ च भी मैंने अदरक बहुत चंगा लगता. Gurnaz, honestly, I can talk to you forever. You know that. This has been such a delight.
Likewise.
Such a delight. Thank you for doing this.
Of course, I really appreciate, you having me here, highlighting my voice.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. And full circle moment. I feel blessed.
Love you.
Aww.
You too. Thank you.